Hey guys, welcome back to Glitchmas, and in this episode we're going to be checking out some of the Glitchmasy glitches in Gex 3, which I had never actually played before, but it has a stage called Holiday Broadcasting, which is perfect for this kind of thing.
Do you remember the late 90s? Games were weird. And Gex 3, well, it was no exception. Apart from Gex having way too much to say for himself, his game also has a couple of bugs here and there, but the ones we'll be focusing on take place in the level Holiday Broadcasting, which I already mentioned. The first glitch takes place right at the beginning of this level. As you can see, it's surrounded by this huge wall that kind of tries to keep you in bounds, but no, developers, you were so close. If only you hadn't put collision on the back of this bench, which we can then use Gex's weird spring jump that he can do and reach the top of the surrounding wall and get out of bounds. My goodness, you guys were so close. But yeah, it really is that easy. You basically just use the bench to bounce off of and get to the back wall. Now, there are one of two things you can do whilst you're up here. You can either reach a lower part of the stage, which is technically something you'd have to go through a loading screen to get to, but it's all on the same map, so it's doable, or you can basically just fall into nothingness and die, which is always fun. This game has some pretty lenient rules when it comes to collision. There's a ton of ways to actually get out of bounds, one of them being as simple as just kind of doing Gex's weird karate jump thing at this corner, and yeah, eventually you'll just pop out of bounds, and once again land to a lower part of the stage, if you're lucky. But easily one of the most interesting out of bounds is this one by the ice skating rink. It's possible to use the ice cube and spring jump up to this higher wall. If you now run around on the top of this wall, you're able to jump down to this pool of water, but you won't actually be in bounds, which means you can kind of swim around out of bounds, which, hey, that's one of my second favorite kind of out of bounds, the ones where you can swim. Now, breathing air is kind of a factor in this, so you don't have an awful lot of time, but there's enough time to actually get to the next room over by swimming through this loading zone. And entering that room in this way has a strange effect where you'll actually see how the game handles reflections with ice, in the fact that we actually see now two Gex models kind of swimming around. This is the kind of magician pulling back the curtain kind of technique that you see in games or that you're not supposed to see in games, and I'm gonna quickly move on from this topic before she says comes for me. One of the cool things here is if you swim downwards, the reflection model will actually swim upwards back to the stage, but that's not gonna help you any because you just ran out of air. But yeah, definitely a really cool out of bounds glitch in this game. This next glitch is kind of strange in a different way. Now, usually when a character gets into water in a game, you'd expect them to swim. Well, Gex has a different kind of issue. If you do Gex's tongue attack just as you enter the water, this will tell the game that Gex isn't actually swimming, and now he'll be able to run around underneath the water, like it's a totally normal thing that he does. Visually, this is obviously a very ridiculous looking glitch, but it does serve a purpose in that Gex swims a lot slower than he walks, so if you can walk around in a speedrun underwater, that's obviously pretty beneficial. Aside from that, it's just another dumb bug that the developers missed. Stupid, sexy developers. The last glitch in this episode that I want to talk about is a bit of a mystery. Evidently, the only footage of this glitch is by Unblinded by Nostalgia here on YouTube. Now, the glitch itself is fairly easy to explain. To render ice reflections, the developers used two models that are actually flipped and basically mirror each other, which is exactly what we saw in the last glitch where we went out of bounds and swam underneath the ice. Well, that's basically what's happening with this glitch, is the ice reflection model has somehow made its way onto land and is now above the normal Gex model. How this is triggered, though, is to me a complete mystery, so I'm handing it off to anybody who's willing to take up the task of discovering how and why this occurs. It could be a super rare glitch that almost never happens, or it could be easily triggered. I've got some theories, but everything that I could think of trying didn't actually give me any results. So if you've seen this glitch or you know how it's done, please get in touch with me in the comments below. I'd love to hear you guys telling me what the heck is going on with this one. And who knows, maybe we can solve a little Glitchmas mystery.
Wow, Gex is a game. It's definitely a game from the late 90s on the PlayStation. It's kind of buggy. It's got some weird things going on with it. But in tomorrow's episode, we're gonna check out something a bit more family friendly. Can we be family friendly anymore? Is that allowed? I don't know. What are the rules anymore? I'll see you guys tomorrow.